Hey guys, this is me, James, and this is another microphone setup test. I got a new wire, so instead of going through this mixer that needed to be powered, and I probably don't even use this correctly, I now have a cord that goes straight from the microphone to my handheld recorder here. I just thought that was a more simpler way to set it up. I need to do a test to make sure I kind of have the levels okay-ish, make sure it's not making too much noise. When I first plugged this in, anytime I moved this, it was making a really loud static noise. And I kind of found out, I thought I got screwed for a while there. But I actually found out that the connections at the jack and up here by the XLR cable were loose, and after tightening them up, they're like, you can unscrew them and see like the soldering job or whatever. I don't know if it's good or not, so it doesn't really matter to me. But after tightening those up, I don't get that static noise anymore. But I want to make sure going directly from the microphone to the recorder with the levels set, it's okay, it works out fine. So we're going to do the same thing I did last time, which was I got some RPG books. I'm going to read the back of them. They're new ones I recently got because I haven't learned to finish reading a book before buying a new one, but hey, whatever, that's my life. I'm trying to think if there's any other things I should mention about the setup. If you don't know much about microphones, you can't do this with every microphone out there. Some microphones are condenser microphones, and they require a phantom power that my mixer here can give. But this is a dynamic microphone. It doesn't require any power. It can just be plugged into my recorder, and it can be listened to, thankfully. So I'm actually going to probably throw this off to the side somewhere. I don't need it anymore, hopefully. Hopefully. A part of this test. And I think we're just going to get to the first RPG book. I got 3 of them, so let's get to them. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing I did last time, where I read the title, I read the back of the book because I'm very bad at explaining settings and things, and then I'm going to explain why I bought it, like how I want to use it. So the first one I have here is Downfall by Carolyn Hobbs, I believe, and their website is Less Than 3 Games. I'll have a link in the description for the website where you can go get this if you want. So let's start with the back here. Build the world and then destroy it. What flaw will be the root of your society's downfall? On lonely Deimos colony, bitter pride sunders the true humans from the mutant weeds. When a new god appears in pure water, our binding faith leads us on a suicidal crusade. In the city of Bonvel, where distrust keeps us alive, the most dangerous friends are those who get too close. In Downfall, you choose a flaw you want to explore and build a unique and irredeemably broken world around it. See how greed destroys a city, how loyalty corrupts a kingdom, or how curiosity betrays a galactic empire. You'll craft traditions that bring your society to life, then see how it all comes tumbling down. 3 players, 2 to 4 hours, no prep, no GM. I found out about this book from, I want to say it was Reddit. I don't even remember why it got mentioned. It was probably like on a topic about like Microscope or Kingdom, because this is kind of in that realm of books. And after saying the name, I was just like, that's a very interesting name. And then I started looking it up, and I'm like, oh, that's really interesting. It's really interesting that it's, you need to have 3 players, no more, no less. I kind of like that, as that's generally the amount of people I can get together to play a game. And I just found the concept of building a world or a city based on a flaw. And the flaw doesn't just have to be, greed or lust or, one of the major sins. It can be something like hope. It can be loyalty. It can be stuff like that. And when you build the world, I actually read through this whole thing. It's been a while since I just sat down and read one of these RPG books in one sitting. It's only 70 pages, so it's not crazy or anything. But what you do is you choose your flaw, like it says. You make your world. You choose, like, each person chooses a word from a list, something like red or rain or echo, and you make a world based off those words. Then you make traditions in this world that reflect the flaw. You'll have 6 traditions after you make them. And then you make a hero who is someone who sees the flaw and wants to stop your civilization from crumbling to it. Then you have the fallen, which is someone who's so into the flaw that they go even harder and they make the hero's life more difficult. And then you have the pillar. It's someone who understands that the flaw is a flaw and they apologize for it, or they accept it fully. They don't want things to get worse, but they don't necessarily want it to get better. They want it to be, how it always has been for them. And so each player will play one of these characters, and there's rounds, and after a round you'll switch the characters, like they'll go to the next person to your left or whatever. And it's really interesting. It's very narrative-ist game, and I think no matter what, from the rules at least, your civilization will always fail. No matter what, the flaw will always destroy the civilization. And it's very interesting. I do want to run this one day. The only thing about it is I probably need to find the right people for it. Where something like a Fate game like Breakfast Cult or The Quiet Year, I feel pretty good about bringing someone into that kind of blind and being okay with like teaching them the game. And you can kind of do that here as well. They have like starting scenarios for like different types of genres, like modern, sci-fi, fantasy. But I just think you need to be in a certain mindset to kind of do the more narrativist kind of gameplay here. But yeah, I don't know. Hopefully one day I'll get to play it, and hopefully I find like a good group of people to play it with. Well, 2 other people really. The only other thing I'm going to say about this is and I feel like I might be a bit harsh on this for some reason. It's more like if anyone watches this, I'm just curious what they think. I bought this through Amazon. There was like only 2 or 3 copies from there, and I've been following it for a few months. That number never changed, so there might still be like 1 or 2 copies on Amazon. It's $20. Usually I try to buy from the publisher or from like Indie Press Revolution if I'm not entirely okay with using PayPal or something. And I just thought it was weird because usually for a lot of places, if you buy the physical book, they give you the PDF for free. And instead with like Downfall, and I later found out for like Microscope, Kingdoms, those other games, I can't remember who makes that. I'm so sorry. It's not Less Than 3 Games. I'm blanking on the name of who makes Microscope, but whatever. What they do is I don't remember the prices exactly, but let's just say the PDF is like $10. The physical book is $20, and then to get both, it's $25. And I just thought that was super weird for me because I thought it was like a industry standard that if you buy the physical book, you get the PDF for free. I'm sure there's reasons of why they would charge extra, like give you a discount of it if you get both, but still have to pay more than just the physical alone. because you probably have to pay money for like people downloading the PDF from your servers and stuff. But I just thought that was super weird, and I decided to get it on Amazon because at least then I could get free shipping. And for me, it was very important to get like the physical book because I'm very bad at reading PDFs. I don't really have a good tablet to read them, and sitting down at my computer is a bit too distracting to read a PDF. Though for a book this size, it's not too bad. But I also I enjoy reading from a physical book more than from a PDF, and decided to just get it from Amazon for like $20, get free shipping, and I was happy with that. But yeah, I'm just curious, like, am I crazy? Is getting the PDF for free if you buy the physical book not the standard? Because I really felt like it was. But yeah, just, I don't know. If you have an opinion on that, just let me know, I guess. Let's go to the next book. All right, so the second book I have here is Cthulhu Confidential. It's a Gumshoe game. If you've watched my previous video, you probably know that Gumshoe was my first RPG game that I ever read and I ever ran. And this one's in particular is different because it is one-to-one Gumshoe. It's supposed to be a game where you can just have a GM and have one other person, and you can run a horror mystery style game using this rule set. It uses Cthulhu because Cthulhu sells. And yeah, let's just read the back of the book, and it will hopefully give you a better idea. One player, one game master, double the thrills. Want to plunge into Lovecraftian mystery without the need for a gaming group? Want to introduce a friend or a loved one to the role-playing hobby? Cthulhu Confidential has come to your rescue. Cthulhu Confidential reimagines Gumshoe, the classic rules of investigative adventure, for the excitement and intensity of head-to-head play. Combine the darkness of 30s hard-boiled detective fiction with the cosmic horror of Lovecraft's Cthulhu mythos. Cthulhu Confidential features dauntless, ready-to-play investigators, terrifying settings torn from the scandal sheets and forbidden grimoires, 3 full-length thrilling scenarios, also featuring the complete Gumshoe one-to-one rules system, full support for creating your own one-to-one adventures, and guidance for online play. We'll give you the tools you need to face the malign indifferences of the mythos alone. But will it be enough? Find out with Cthulhu Confidential. Being alone and terrified has never been so much fun. Sure. So like it said, it's for only 2 players. It's based on the Gumshoe system. It takes place in the 1930s. I think it said that somewhere. And it comes with 3 3 characters that are all statted out who have their own scenarios. One in Los Angeles, one in New York, and one in Washington, D.C. They're actually on the little main cover here. I actually really like this cover. Like, I may have to put up a bigger image of it here, but I really love the look of this. I like the black and white, except for like the blue on his suspenders, her green jacket, and the guy's red cigarette. It's really nice. I really love the look of it. I picked this up because I wanted... I was very interested in a 2-player system because, again, getting friends together is a hard thing. It will still probably be a hard thing to get one other person to play, one of these books, one of these games. But, that's just how that is. I really like Gumshoe. I think it's a cool system. And the only thing I'm a little iffy about is it takes place in the 1930s, and I know nothing about the 1930s. This book is a little scratched up. Wonder how that happened. Just got it for Christmas, too. Oh, well. And so it takes place in the 1930s. I know nothing about the 1930s. I'm sure the book will give me like information and stuff, but I'm really interested in if I'm able to take the rule system that they have here and bring it to a modern day setting. It'll be very interesting if I can run something modern day with this. But even then, having 3 scenarios with 3 different characters being available right then and there, that's kind of nice. Like not having to have to come up with a scenario myself. I'm actually kind of curious because I didn't realize this, that it has guidance for online play. That's really interesting. It's nice to know that at least Pellegrin is thinking about how people play games nowadays, how a lot of people probably play online and stuff. So yeah, I'm very interested to read this one. It'll probably be the next book I read during January, and I have an idea of who I want to run a game for. I don't know how interested they would be, but I think it might be something up their alley. I don't know, but I'm not exactly sure if I'm going to ask them or not. We'll see. But yeah, that was Cthulhu Confidential. I'm very interested in getting to try this out. Hopefully, one day I'll get to try this out and maybe record it and put it online, but we'll see. Let's get to the third and final book. So finally, I have here Red Markets, a game of economic horror. It's by Caleb Stokes, which his name is not on here on the front cover. That's interesting. Do they have? I didn't even read the authors for Cthulhu Confidential. Robin D. Laws, Chris Spivell, and Ruth Tillman for Cthulhu Confidential. But this one, but Red Markets was written by Caleb Stokes. He did a Kickstarter for this game. I was involved in the Kickstarter because I'm a big fan of Caleb from RPPR. He also does a podcast called The Mixed Six. Go check them out. They're very, very good. And in particular, RPPR actual plays have actual plays of Red Markets. So if this sounds interesting to you, I'll have a link in the description for their campaign actual play for this game, which is, I believe they called it Fallen Flag. Okay, this is a hefty book. You can bash someone's head in with this. But we'll get to that later. The setting. When the tired joke of the zombie apocalypse clawed its way out of our subconscious and into terrifying reality, our cultural obsession killed as many as it saved. After the chaos finally subsided, the apocalypse ended up unevenly distributed, just like everything else. Humanity survived by leaving a part of itself behind. The world is now divided, haves and haves not, living and dead, the recession and the loss. In Red Markets, characters play takers, mercenary entrepreneurs, unwilling to accept their abandonment and force the rest of their lives trading between the quarantine zones and the remains of civilization. The game uses the traditional zombie narrative as a tool to tell an all-too-real story of life on the wrong end of the capitalism. Red Markets runs on the new Profit RPG system. Features include another fucking paragraph. Every number makes a moment. All the crunch in the Profit system is story-orientated. Complex strategy, social combat. Negotiating the price of a job involves verbal sparring matches where nuanced role-playing is the only winning strategy. Player-generated setting and content, which I'm gonna assume you guys understand what that sentence means. Modular design and scalable difficulty. Again, you probably understand what that means. Quick and easy scenario design, and thematic integrity. In a game about horrors of capitalism, everything from the dice mechanic on up is designed to reinforce the terrifying effects the economy can have on our lives. So again, I was a background Kickstarter for this because I'm a big fan of Caleb. He did a podcast with Ross Payton about going through the whole design of the game from, every from the first idea to writing the book to shipping the book, which sounds like it was a freaking horror story in itself. I'll have a link to what those are called. It's like Game Workshop podcast or something like that. I'll have a link in the description. It's a really good listen, especially if you're interested in hearing someone go through making an RPG book. And it's very interesting. Pretty much the East Coast, pretty much the zombie apocalypse happened in the world. The East Coast finally kind of got rid of the zombies, but everything from the Mississippi to the West still has zombies. It's now called the Loss. The East Coast is now called the Recession. And it's a game about living in the Loss, trying to buy your way into the recession and trying to survive both economically and physically. It's a really like listening to the podcast, the actual plays. It's a really interesting idea. And it's something I never thought I would want to run a zombie game, but this one makes it sound more interesting because the zombies in this, the way they explain the zombies is like the weather. It's a terrifying thing if a storm happens while you're trying to get from one place to the other. It's just as terrifying if you have zombies trying to bite you and kill you. And there's a bunch of other things, like it takes place in like near future. So there's like near future tech, like there's always internet because they put up these servers in the atmosphere that's always being cooled off because it's colder up there, apparently. In space, it's cold. Who knew? There's always internet. They have these drone donkey things. And again, go listen to the podcast. It's a really interesting game. I'm probably selling it short here. Thing is, it is super thick. Like, let me just get Cthulhu Confidential out here. Like, look at that. Look at the difference there. And the thing is with Cthulhu Confidential, like a good 2/3 of this is like scenario stuff in here, where I can probably just get to the reading about the rules and I'm probably good. Here, I kind of want to read everything. It's really interesting. The story fluff. Right now, like the very beginning is all about the history of how, not exactly how the zombies happened, because no one knows how the zombies happened, but pretty much like what happened, what happened when the zombies came about, and how society, how politics made things even worse and stuff like that. And it's very interesting. And I want to read all this, but also I'm a slow reader, and this is a lot. At some point, I am going to get through this book, and I want to one day run a game of it. And I don't think it'll be too bad to like make up a thing, but I think at some point they're going to put out like a, what's the word? Like a quick play scenario thing where, you'll have characters and a job to go do that you can just run instantly instead of having to create, all the stuff with your friends. But yeah, Red Markets looks really interesting. I hope one day I can get through this whole book. I hope one day I can run it for some friends. But again, life. Anyway, that was my microphone setup test while talking about RPGs. I'll have links in the description for all of these books if you want to go check them out. Check out their websites, read about them, check out character sheets and stuff like that. But yeah, I think that is everything. I want to thank you guys for watching. If you watched all this, you are amazing. Thank you. If you haven't watched any of my other videos, maybe go check them out. Maybe go check out the other audio test I did where I talked about some of the other RPGs I owned and haven't read because I'm a terrible person. And if you liked my other videos and you're not subscribed, maybe hit subscribe. If you want to comment. If you want to like, dislike, do so. It's really up to you. It's your life. But again, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Bye. This lighting is unflattering, isn't it? I can only see the tiny little screen, and I don't have my glasses on, but I'm assuming it's very unflattering. Bye.